Hi friends, so today's video is going to be all about my money jar. This was sort of brought on because I was speaking about this on my Instagram stories a little while ago and just letting you guys know of a few situations and a few stories that had come about based off of this money jar, and a bunch of you were really keen to see what it is and how to do it and what's in mine, etc. So I'm making the video today. I'm letting you guys know what the money jar is, what is in mine. I based my jar off of what the Witch of Wonderlust does for hers. She's a creator here on YouTube, and she actually has some fantastic videos, so I do recommend going to watch hers if you haven't already. Not just her money jar video, but any other video she has based on anything spiritual or magical or ritual based. She has a lot more knowledge and a lot more experience than I do. She's maybe able to explain a few things a bit better than I am, but I based my jar off of hers. I just tweaked it a little bit to what I had in my cupboards and available to me that I found useful. So don't take this recipe, I guess you could call it, to absolute. It doesn't, you don't have to do this. There are no real rules. As long as you've got a jar and some good intentions, you're good to go. But if you have some spices, if you have some candles, if you're into crystals and you have them already, look them up and see whether or not they're going to be good for, you know, prosperity, financial gain, negotiations, and add them into it if it feels right. That's the whole point of any kind of ritual, intentional, intuitive process, is whether or not it feels right. So, okay, this is what I have in my jar, but you don't have to have all of these things if you don't want. So keep that in mind. The biggest and the best tool that you can use in any kind of ritual, any kind of spell work with any sort of intentional setting type of thing, anything at all, the best tool that you have is yourself and your intentions. So don't stress too much if you don't have the crystals or the incense or the herbs. You don't have to go out and purchase any of these. Just use what you have, use what works and what feels right. So, yeah, let's get into the video. I'm going to break down what is in mine and why I have them in there. And, yeah, we're going to break apart the jar and put it back together, and hopefully I can explain things clearly for you. Yeah, let's get into the video. Okay. So this kind of seems like a lot, and it kind of is, but again, just use what you have. Some of the herbs and spices you might already have in your cupboard. I've just got some really basic ones: cinnamon, star anise, and cloves. Really simple, really basic. Money. If you've got any old coins, I've got some like international currency here, some Australian currency, crystals if you have them, candles if you want to work with a little bit of candle magic, matches obviously to light those candles, incense if you like working with smoke to cleanse, a pen, the bay leaves I already had, these are some old candles that I've used, a jar, some kind of vessel, could be a bowl, could be a cup, could literally just be a shoebox that you've got under your bed. It doesn't matter as long as it can hold your stuff, and then some paper. So this is what I have in mine. I'll go into a little bit more detail, specifically what they are and what their properties are and why I've chosen them as we start to put them back in the jar. But this is just sort of an overall of what I have in mine. Like I said, the only things I went to buy specifically for this jar is the bay leaves. I didn't have any bay leaves in my cupboard, and I didn't have any I had tea light candles, so I didn't need to go out and buy candles, but I wanted some like gold and green ones because they are the colors generally associated with money. So if you want to work not just candle magic, but like color magic into it as well, you can find yourself some gold candles or some green candles, or you can just go with regular tea light candles. Like I've used plenty of those, as well as the gold ones as well. So yeah, this is a lot, but again, you don't need to have all this. You could just work with a candle, you could just work with some coins, and you could just work with a jar and a piece of paper and a pen. That would be fine. This is a lot, but I mean, I had it, so I'm going to use it. So now we'll get into filling the jar up. I've already got some things here which have already, I don't need to sort of change up, but I will go over why I have these particular things and why I have 10 cloves specifically and why a pyrite and all that sort of stuff. So let's get into actually filling up the money jar. Okay, so first things first is you want to cleanse everything, and how you cleanse will just depend on what feels comfortable for you. I do like smoke cleansing, so I always use an incense. This incense stick is specifically for money drawing. I didn't buy this for this specific money jar purpose. I just happened to have it. The little store, my local store, had a deal on incense, and I just grabbed this one to sort of make up that deal by random. So I just had it, but use whatever works for you. You can get specific like purification and cleansing incenses. If you like sage or Palo Santo, you can use that as well. You can also get sprays if you don't like smoke. So this is a really good, easy, quick way to sort of cleanse everything and your spaces. But do be careful. Some liquids and some oils could be damaging to certain types of crystals and stuff. So sprays are a good way, but just be sure that your crystals aren't going to dissolve if you get them wet or anything. So yeah, I like smoke. I like smoke, and I like incense because it's only a small amount of smoke and it smells really nice. So I'm just going to light this and cleanse everything to make it new and fresh, and to just revive that energy within the jar and the items that I'm putting in there, as well as things that I'm taking out, like so all of these old candle things. I'll thank them for their purpose. They did me wonderfully, but it's time for them to move on now. So I'm just going to do that really quickly. Even things like the pen that you might use. Just give it a cleanse, because you never know what energies it's picked up. One thing to note as well, and this is like a side note, it doesn't really have to matter in terms of like money jar, but if you are cleansing anything, or if you're stirring anything, if you're making tea or soup or anything, if you're cooking and you want to attract, you want to move clockwise. If you want to remove, you want to go anti-clockwise. But because a money jar, the whole point is to attract abundance, financial abundance, we will go clockwise. We want to bring that towards us, please. I don't think I actually mentioned the point of a money jar. The point of a money jar is to attract wealth, financial abundance, to keep a steady flow of finances coming in. If you have a particular goal that you're aiming towards, be it maybe you need to save up for a holiday or a new car, or you just want your business to get up off the ground and do well and bring in a steady stream of income, a money jar is going to help for that. So it'll become a little bit more clear as we sort of get into the bay leaves and the pieces of paper. You can set your intentions and your goals on those. But essentially, I've got some Australian coins in here. As long as you keep the energy and the flow within the jar fresh and new and positive, then your flow of your income from whatever sources you wish it to come, or your savings growing steady, your investments growing, keeping the flow of this up will keep the flow of those up. So every now and then, if you find 20 cents on the ground, stick it in your money jar. If you need to take 20 cents, you can take 20 cents, but just keep the energy fresh and new and flowing, and that should help keep your finances fresh and new and flowing. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's get now into what we're putting into the jar. So there's no real specific order, I guess. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go in with my coins first. It is a money jar, so it makes sense to have money in there, right? So I've got some Australian coins. I've got some leftover currencies from around the world. I think some of them are pennies, pences, pennies, copper things. 50 pence. What have we got here? 20 pence, a New Zealand 20 cent, New Zealand dollar. Most of them are pence, I think. But the whole point of like my money jar specifically, and my goals and aspirations for the jar was and is to have my online, my social medias, my YouTube, my Instagram, that sort of those creative platforms grow and become more than just a hobby. I want them to still be my passion and my hobby, but the opportunities are there to make money. So a lot of my goal is to help them grow and have a steady flow from those. So I'm putting the international currencies in there because obviously on the internet you can reach worldwide platforms. So that sort of represents those, plus also the homegrown Aussie ones. We want to reach the whole world with our social platforms. So that's why I'm putting some of those international currencies in there. I mean, money's money. It all represents the same thing at the end of the day, doesn't it? So next up, I'm putting in some herbs. Mine are kind of covered in wax. I've been using these ones and I spilt some wax. So there's a little bit of wax. Oh, I've just broken that wheat clove. Let's replace you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was just getting the wax off of you. Oh, look, you did a fantastic job. Thank you for doing you. So I will just grab another wee clove. These I had in my cupboard already, so I didn't have to go out and buy any of these. And herbs don't cost a lot of money anyway. I think this packet of bay leaves, this whole jar, it didn't come in a jar, it came in a plastic bag. I just put it in the jar for storage. This whole bag cost like $1.50 or something. So herbs don't cost a lot of money if you do want to incorporate herbs and spices into your jar. They don't cost a lot of money and you can pick them up literally at your local supermarket. So they're really, really easy to find. But why I chose star anise and cloves specifically, oh, and cinnamon. Cinnamon is represents luck, prosperity, success, success both in spirituality, love, but also it's a good protection, I think, as well. So I'm going to pop her in there. I'm going to give these just another quick cleanse really quickly before I put them actually in the jar. So I put one of her in. I've got one star anise. I also had these just in my cupboard. They represent luck, spiritual connection, psychic and magical power, intuition, and manifestation. So this is a great manifestation tool. So I put one of her in as well. Now the cloves, I have 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 10. Why I chose one of the other herbs and spices and why I've chosen 10 of these is because the number 1 is, it appears a lot in my numerology chart. My, what are they? I have the triad. So you've got your birth date, your name, and something else, and they come to 1, 1, and 7. Even my last 2 home addresses have rounded down to the number 1, and even lately I've been seeing 1 or 11 a lot. So I went with ones with the other sort of larger ones, and I went with 10 cloves because 10, first of all, it's my birth date. I was born on the 10th, but it sort of rounds down to 1 as well. But also cloves. Cloves are great for luck, prosperity, and friendship, so I'm going to pop those in there as well. Bay leaves are used a lot in rituals. A really simple ritual is to write on a bay leaf what your goal or what your intention is, and then to light it in a candle and burn it. The smoke sort of sends that off into the universe. If you're into that, that's a really simple ritual. Oh, I need to light my tea light. I've not done that. I do like to have a candle burning usually whenever I'm doing anything. So let me light her. Just pop her off to the side so we don't put anything on fire. But yeah, bay leaves represent good fortune, money, success, protection, strength, and purification. So these are just fantastic to use in your sort of money jar and your rituals anyway. I have a bunch of these and I have written on there some goals and where I want my finances to come from, but also where I want it to then go towards. Like here on this one, I've got give back to family and friends. I wrote these in silver and I probably might change these out to gold because silver, even though there's silver coins, silver money, silver isn't necessarily the strongest like money color. It's usually golds and greens. So I think I am going to replace those with like gold. But I have a bunch in here. So brand collaborations and I need to go to the dentist and, you know, silly things. Brand events. Funnily enough, one of those has actually come to fruition recently. And oh, this one, car expenses. It was actually, when I started this, I wanted to get my car back on the road. And if you're following my Instagram, you'll know the story. I got my car back on the road. I was able to manifest that money and have my car back on the road within the budget. It didn't go over budget. It was looking like it was meant to. but it didn't. Through the grace of the universe, it didn't go over budget. I didn't have to spend any extra money than I had allocated for. I was able to have that money. I had that money to be able to pay the registration, pay the servicing, and all the sort of roadworthiness fees and stuff. So I got her back on the road. But what's incredible, even more so incredible, is a week or two later, I got a phone call from my old insurance company saying that one of the claims that I made is going to be refunded. So I was going to get all of the excess that I paid back. But not only that, I was getting the interest that it had accumulated on top of that. And this was something that happened 6 years ago. So I was manifesting getting my car back on the road. But not only that, I manifested a chunk of money from something surrounding my car that I could not have expected. I could not have predicted. I could not have, like, from 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I put in a claim for a stupid little accident, which wasn't my fault. There was no damage, so my insurance wasn't needed. And then they just send me the money back 6 years later. So she does wonderful things. That's the biggest thing, I think. She's done a lot of little things for me here or there. But that was something that I could not have I wasn't even thinking about. I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't, you can't think, you can't prepare for that. You can't predict that. So, yeah. That wasn't written down on these bay leaves, but I have a few here. I'm going to go through them and I'm going to place back in the ones that are still relevant and replace the ones or dispose of the ones that are no longer relevant. I'll cleanse them in the smoke each time. So these are a great way to just write down where you want your income flow to come from, where you want it, and then where you want that income to go to. So if you have a savings goal, put that in there as well. Give it the intent you need or you want to save to put that money towards. So I am going to replace all the silver ones just because it doesn't feel right. I want to go back to the gold. I was doing silver for savings, but it just doesn't resonate. So I'm going to swap them out to gold. So, and bay leaves are great because bay leaves, like coins, if you find 5 cents on the ground or something, there's something that you can add and take from whenever you feel or whenever you need. So whenever I get a new leaf, I cleanse it in the smoke, I write it in the gold pen, which I've already cleansed, and I'll pop it in the jar. All right, let me just pop these away. All these herbs and spices as well make this jar smell so good. Like, it smells so delicious in there. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. We're looking pretty herby and spicy. Yep, we're smelling pretty great. Up next, I do have some crystals. So I've got clear or white quartz. I've got, I believe this is a green adventurine. That's actually something a subscriber sent to me. So thank you so much. I'm putting her to very good use. I've got a pyrite. Now, if you want to do any kind of money manifesting, this is the stone you want. Everyone goes straight to citrine, and citrine is fantastic. Like, it is a good sort of money drawing crystal, but pyrite, bitch, pyrite is that stone you want. It's beautiful. It's basically the color of money. It's heavy, it's weighty, it's metallic like money. And wow, has this been such a powerful addition to my jar. Every time I do some candle magic, with the jar, I stick the pyrite out there, I stick a candle, I cleanse it, and I just let it do its work. And she has not done me wrong yet. She is fantastic. And also, it's hard to find natural citrine. A lot of citrine out there is heat treated, basically heat treated amethyst. So pyrite is a lot easier to find. It might not be as cheap, I'm not sure, but she's the money stone. So I pop pyrite in there. The clear quartz or the white quartz is basically a really good amplifier. That's what I tend to use clear or white quartz for. So that's going to just amplify the power, the money drawing power of pyrite for me. So I'll pop her in there as well. And green adventurine is great for opportunities, and it's green. It's the color of, the universal color of magic. Again, you can use anything green, gold, so that's why citrine is really good. But yeah, I just had this, so I'm going to pop her in there. She is perfect. She fits in there perfect with the aesthetic, so she works. Now I do have this ring. This ring I bought so many years ago. It has a yellow stone on it. I think I bought it thinking maybe it was citrine. I'm not sure. I really like the ring. I don't know if it is actual citrine. It could honestly just be cubic zirconia for all I know. I cannot remember. It's been that long since I bought it, but it is that beautiful color, so it works more towards color magic than it does. I mean, it could be citrine. I don't know if it's natural, probably not being so bright. It is probably heat treated, if anything. But citrine, if it is citrine, it's meant to be good for, you know, wealth, success, prosperity, enthusiasm, especially good. It's meant to be good for negotiation as well. But if not, yellow is, it fits. It fits. It may or may not actually be citrine, but it fits. So I put it in there anyway, and I don't really wear it, so she can go in there. And then the only other thing I put in there is I have these pieces of paper folded up. I think these are called partitions. Basically, I'm probably not going to explain this very well, but it's what I have written on here is, and I have to open this one up. I might open them both up and rewrite them again because this one doesn't want to stay closed. Basically, this is another way to put your goals and your aspirations or your intentions. So again, I'm going to direct you to the Witch of Wonderlust. Olivia just did a video on partitions. She can explain it a lot better than I can, but write down your intentions. Be as clear and as specific and as long and as direct as you want to be. Fold it up and sign it, seal it, pop it in your jar. There is a certain way to fold things. Again, much like the clockwise and the anti-clockwise, if you want things to come to you, you want to fold towards you. If you want things to go away, you want to fold away. But other than that, just write down your intentions, sign it a couple times, seal it up, pop it in your jar. So I'm probably going to redo that just now because this is quite an old one. So this is probably all about my car, which I don't need anymore. So I'm just going to open her up. I sealed her with wax. Oh no, it's not. Okay, this is still pretty relevant. All right, I'm going to keep that in there. I'm just going to give it a refresh, a re-cleanse. I'm going to fold it back over towards myself a few times. I'm going to reseal it with some wax. Now this one is slightly newer, slightly more current. Oh, I can't even read that. Okay, this is more about the saving. So I'm going to keep that because it's quite good, but I'm going to seal that up with wax because the washi tape wasn't working. So I'm just going to give her a fresh cleanse. Make it all nice and new. And again, fold towards myself. Fold towards myself. I haven't signed this one. Let me sign it. Oh, I wrote that in silver though. I might redo that in gold. I'm just going to take this piece of paper. It doesn't really matter how or what it looks like. Unless I have something that can fit my aesthetic, do I? I would really prefer that. It's completely unnecessary, but, well, I'm just that kind of person. Okay, so I've gone with this sort of more green color. All right, so I'm going to write this out real quick and pop it in the jar. All right, and that is basically it. Now normally what I would do is I would probably grab my pyrite, give her a fresh cleanse, and pop it with my candle and just give thanks. It's always important to be grateful for what you have received, what this has brought in, what this has given me, but also to be grateful for what it is bringing, because it is bringing abundance, it is bringing wealth. You have to believe that in any ritual, in any type of manifestation that you are looking to do. You have to believe that it is going to come, that it is coming, that it's already on its way to you. Any doubt will mean it won't come to fruition. You won't manifest. There's a quote in the Moonology book. I've put it in one of my videos before, which sums up manifestation perfectly. It's a belief. You have to believe in magic to see it, to feel it, to do it. That is so true. So yeah, normally this is every couple of days I would light a candle, usually one of these ones. These are very, very quick. These are just birthday candles. You can get these in the supermarket. They're like $2 or $3 for a pack of 12, and they burn for, I mean, the green ones are pretty small. They burn for maybe half an hour. The gold ones burn for about 45 minutes. These tea lights burn for 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours. Obviously you can use a bigger candle as well. I have a big one here. This will burn for hours and hours and hours upon days and days. I just like the littler ones, just because I don't particularly like having an open flame burning for too long. Within my home I do have cats and they get up to everything and knock everything over. So it's more of a safety thing in my case. You don't have to incorporate candle magic if you don't want. I have found candle magic to be extremely powerful as well, just on its own, regardless of like money jar. So a little tea light candle next to a crystal and some intention can be a really powerful thing. So I probably will now let this burn down. I might put it back out in my regular space where it sits so I can keep an eye on the flame, which is just sort of near my front door there. But this is perfect. My incense is just finished. So yeah, that's my money jar. I'd love to know your thoughts on the money jar. If you have one, or if you have a bowl or a cup or whatever you have, it doesn't matter as long as it can hold any or all of these things or more things. Let me know if you have one, if you make one, what you put into it, and how, if you want to share how it has worked for you and what you've been able to manifest through it. So yeah, hopefully this was interesting. I think I covered everything. Again, I will have the Witch of Wonderlust, her channel and her video listed down below. She's able to explain things. She has a lot more experience in all of this than I do. So do check her out. She's absolutely fantastic just anyway. But yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already so I can see you in my next video. Bye guys.